Well, we wanted it, and we finally got it. It is Return of the Living Dead Part 3 from Vesteron Video, number 4 in their new collector series, or is it called? It's a collector series, with a new shiny slipcase, a uncut transfer, and some extras, which is just great because now we can watch it away from the cut form, away from the full screen form, and away from the 8-pack that came out a few years ago. Now, if you're familiar with Return of the Living Dead, you know Part 1 is probably the greatest zombie movie of all time, next to Dawn of the Dead. Some may consider it better, I don't know. It probably depends if you want the zombies showing it or not. Return of the Living Dead 2, more of the same, but more comedic. So that brings us to Part 3, which was a, what's the director's name? Brian, I want to pronounce it right, the one that did Society. Brian Usna, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Very good with the body horror type stuff. He took this one over. Basically did a Twilight thing before Twilight was Twilight, only he did it with some balls, and he did it without the corniness of it, as we have a girl that is unfortunately killed, brought back to life as a zombie, and then we spend the rest of the movie with her trying to resist eating people, one of those people being her boyfriend. Now, they get in this situation because, you know, his dad works for the government, and they're working on the Troxin stuff, you know, that everybody knows from the Return of the Living Dead series, and they see what it does. So when something happens with her, he goes, he does that, and that's basically the gist of it. The movie's full of, I would say, some dated effects. The effects is probably one of the cooler parts of it, although with this transfer on this, some of it looks a little bit worse for wear, worse than it probably did back when you watched it on VHS, but the movie looks good in general, which is a good thing as well. I'm not going to say every character we see in the movie is good, but definitely she's a highlight of it. Melinda Clarke. Melinda Clarke's on here. She's a real highlight of this movie. The boyfriend, he could probably have been interchangeable with any actor if you really think about it. He's not necessarily in the way, but then again, he's not necessarily winning any awards here either. Some of the cartoons they run, some of the characters they run across is kind of cartoony, but there is like the guy that made Under the Bridge, which is a pretty neat character, and like I said, it kind of has a moment where you think we've reached the finale, and then it does something else. I mean, it's not boring. It's got some pretty cool stuff in it. It's got some blood in it, and it's got a pretty good plot here, as we really kind of root for these guys, even though you know it's probably not going to end well. But like I said, this is a very nice looking transfer. I'll insert some shots into the video here. Vesteron Collector Series number 4 with a nice glossy slipcase. And when you remove the slipcase, we have the basic art here. We all remember we got that on the back. We got the ecto-friendly case, and we got the disc there. Not necessarily sure how limited these are, but they are apparently limited. Audio commentary with director Brian Usna, actress Melinda Clarke, special makeup effects artist Tom Renone, a conversation with director Brian Usna, screenwriter John Penny, interviews with special effects artist Steve Johnson and Chris Nelson, interviews with producer executive David Trippett, and editor post-production supervisor Christopher Roth. Also, there's an interview on here with Melinda Clarke that doesn't seem to be listed here, but there is an interview with her on here. Theatrical trailer and still galleries. This is a first for me. I got the Chud 2 Vesteron one, and I got this one. These are the first ones I've actually been able to get my hands on so far. I don't have Chop and Maul and all those, but from what I can tell, these are very much worth buying. Very much like the Scream Factory stuff, only they've stuck with the original art. They did a really good job on the transfers, and if you're not necessarily familiar with the Return of the Living Dead series, you could probably stop after 3, but this is a strong one, probably next to Part 1, the best one. So if you kind of like a little bit of something done differently with the zombie genre, this is definitely one you want to watch.